Already done.
Thank you so much, Miss Barton. It's officially
And
7:30.
I'm like you. My name is Carol.
All right, Carol. It's officially 7:34, and I'm calling the meeting to order. Again, thank you so much for joining. The weather is nice outside. We know you could be in many different places, but we appreciate your time. And apologies on my end. I need to leave at 8:30, but wherever we are in the conversation, it can continue. Without me, we do have capable community leaders. My report, I'm going to make it extremely brief because I want us to dedicate most of our time to the finalization of our upcoming cleanup. But we also want to give you a chance, an opportunity to let us know anything that might be going on in your neighborhood in terms of sanitation. So just to give you a few quick updates, we were finally successful in getting a few cars towed, such as on East 37th Street and East 25th Street. The 67th precinct, they tend to celebrate with us as well because they had it on their Facebook page. I usually follow different community organizations just to see the scope of things on their end. We still have the ongoing garbage cleanup that's being set up sent into us, the ongoing garbage issues. We've had many issues reported to us, and what we've been doing when we get it sent in to us, we send it into Miss Teresa Cunningham, who is our direct contact. We also we report it to 67 precinct if it's a parking issue. We also do a 311 on it. So we do have a few outstanding ones, and when we do get a resolution, we usually report back to the original person who had logged in the complaint. Junction remains a hot spot. And one of the latest ones that we've received, we received one from Miss Martinez. Miss Martinez, we are definitely looking into it. And thanks for including Miss Cunningham on it. This is the garbage complaint where they're putting it out much earlier than the current law allows from Flatbush Garden. And we also had one today from East 26th Street. So again, we log it in and we usually get back to the original person who had sent it in. Um, I'm sure most of us, maybe we do stay on top of the news. We've seen that the mayor now has someone dedicated to mitigating the rat issues, Miss Kathleen Corrade. The reason I'm just mentioning this because we really have to adhere to the new rules because a big part of them trying to decrease the rat population has to do, at least in their opinion for now, they're trying this out. It has to do with the garbage issues, the way it's being put out to try to decrease the rat population. Um, the last thing, a few other things I want to say, Miss Martinez, I see you, and I'm going to get to you right after. Mr. Johnson, you had suggested an update regarding bill posting. I believe I saw you on here. This was sent to our chair of Parks and Beautification, and I had CC'd you on it. If you don't hear back from them within the next 2 weeks, please let me know and we will be following up again. But Parks will be addressing the bill posting issue that you had brought up. A few other people on last month's call had mentioned tying in the district attorney's office. So we are waiting to hear back from the district attorney's office regarding the youth and community program. This is the program where the youth will be helping when we have our cleanup in the different parts of our neighborhood. And again, I'm going to keep it extremely brief. Ms. Martinez, do you have something at this time?
Yes. One of the issue with one of the issues that we have is if they want residents to comply with this new garbage schedule, so the sanitation also has to be more timely in their garbage pickup.
Mm-hmm.
Because last week I had to complain the garbage on Clarendon Road was out there from Monday night for Tuesday pickup till Thursday.
Saw your pictures. Is this
They
the one
finally
from
picked it up.
Flatbush Garden?
No, no. There's the one on Clarendon between Kings Highway and East 56th Street. That's always a complaining because there's always, sometimes the garbage is sitting there for a week.
Mm-hmm. And I'm
And
writing this down again. Clarendon, Kings Highway and 52nd.
56.
56. And this is
Yeah.
it's not in the containers or anything. It's just sitting out there on the street.
Yeah, it's sitting on the street.
Mhm.
People put it out within the time they're supposed to put it out, but it is not picked up timely.
I'm
You
gonna
know, you have to
send
call and file complaints. Never mind that the alternate side sweeping does not go on at all in this area. The tickets are there's no enforcement. There are cars for sale that don't move, even by the
Mhm.
green space all over the place. And on New York Avenue between Farragut and Glenwood, closer to them. There's a car there with a flat tire, a Nissan Pathfinder with, I've complained about it twice, and the precinct, and it's filled with garbage, and the precinct claims that when they come, they don't see it. I don't know where they're looking. I called the precinct today, as a matter of fact.
Were we able to give them a physical address, or they didn't get an address?
I gave them an address because it's a corner.
Uh-huh.
So I gave them the Farragut Road address, but the house is on the the car is on the New York Avenue side. So that means that alternate side cleaning doesn't happen there either.
New York, Farragut, and Glenwood.
Between Farragut, yeah.
All right, I'm gonna be over there near my church. They need I'm gonna get a physical address for them, and when we report it again,
I gave them
we're
one.
gonna CC you on it.
Okay.
So we're gonna
Mhm.
CC you on both of these.
Yeah. And I want you to really look at the Flatbush Gardens matter because it's just I only sent a picture of one spot. All around that whole development, wherever they keep the garbage, they put it out days. That was 1:30 in the afternoon on Saturday, probably for Monday or Tuesday pickup.
I saw that, and that's a lot of
And
garbage.
that's only one spot. If you go on Brooklyn Avenue, you'll see another one. And if you go around the whole place, it has all those mounds of garbage all the time. And that has been an issue for many, many years.
Mm-hmm.
They
Mm-hmm.
were supposed to get a compactor, and that has never happened.
All right, so I have these three, and I know I have your pictures from earlier. So we're definitely going to send it on to the three different agencies that we usually send it on to. And when I know it won't be resolved. I know how sometimes they report back to us and say, yes, it's fine. What we've been doing, I've done it myself. I've driven by some of these locations and had to take follow-up pictures. So, but I'll CC you on them, and we're going to ask that everyone keep sending these in. And when you send it in, if you're able to, we also need a 311 report, because the 311 report, that helps us out, and it helps the city to know that we are complaining. We're not just using Miss Cunningham or just going to the 67th precinct. Anything else at this point regarding the garbage or anything that wasn't sent in yet?
But I think you need to look at this used to be a nice community with nice front yards and all of that. Now we have all those apartment buildings down there. They all have, and the sanitation says they can't do anything about it. All of them have garbage cans in the front and mounds of garbage all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And the people in homes are complaining about the rodents and things like that. We have mounds of garbage, mounds of recycling, and cars. Everything is on the sidewalk. Mailboxes. There's hardly anywhere for anyone to walk, especially on New York Avenue, where it's a very narrow passageway.
There is also a new initiative where they're putting out some of these big containers in certain neighborhoods. I don't know if it's going to get to this neighborhood and when it will, but we are looking into that as well. Now, some people don't
No.
believe in them. They believe it harbors more rat because sometimes they let the garbage sit in there longer.
Yep, that's true.
Right, right. Because sometimes they're like, okay, well, we have a container, we leave it, we won't make pickup until 2 weeks. So there was a discussion as well regarding those, but
Where
these
would they
three,
put that?
which one?
Where would they put something like that, though? Sidewalks already narrow.
They are narrow. Our neighborhoods are not as the streets are not as wide as some of the commercial districts in Manhattan. It's usually geared towards like commercial areas, especially some of these restaurants that are not doing what they're supposed to be doing, and some of these businesses. So I'm not sure where they would, because Oars, a lot of our neighbor, well, they do have different sizes as well. So I'm not sure how it would work, but there is an ongoing discussion with that as well. But thanks so much, Miss Martinez. Anyone else at this point, or
I have
Yolanda Aline.
Yolanda Aline? Yes, please feel free to go ahead.
Yes, the question is that they say to put out the garbage to stop the rats, but when you put out a plastic bag, rats don't know if it's 8 o'clock at night or 5 o'clock in the morning. The question is, why is sanitation not picking up garbage in a decent time, in a timely manner?
According to what they're trying, they are supposed to be picking it up overnight. No, I've seen a difference on the block where I live. We've been putting it out, and when I'm up doing work at midnight and 1 o'clock, that's when our sanitation is coming now. So that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to pick it up quicker. So I'm not sure what they're doing in certain neighborhoods. According to the theory behind it, the least amount of time it sits out there, they're trying to get rid of the rat food, so to speak. And I've seen a difference within the last couple of weeks. I don't know if they're going to keep it up on this side.
Yeah, but in certain neighborhoods, like on Brooklyn Avenue near Van Der, people homeowners put the garbage out 2 days ahead, and they don't pick up the garbage. On my block, sometimes we put out the garbage at 8 o'clock at night, and the garbage is still on the sidewalk 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm. And did anyone have an opportunity to call 311? Because we call and we complain as well. And when we complain, and are the residents putting it out the night before, the correct night before as well?
Of course they are, but the question still remains. If you say put it out at 8 o'clock and put the plastic bag at 8 o'clock, the rat doesn't know it's 8 o'clock or 5 o'clock in the morning, like I said before. They come out anytime to eat. Once they smell food, they will eat.
They definitely will. The idea, and again, just to reiterate, I've seen it on my block. I can only speak for here, but we're definitely going to, once you report something, we send it in. When we put it out now at 8 o'clock, they're not picking it up at 7:30 in the morning anymore. The sanitation young men are coming at night. They're coming at 12:30, 1 o'clock at night. So according to what they're saying, this is what they're going to try to do to get that garbage off the street as quickly as they can.
Monica McCain Brown with a question in
Yes,
regards
Ms.
to
McCain
parking.
Brown.
In regards to parking, there are some cars and some of them have no license plate. And I know we have probably spoken about this before, but what are our next steps? They are parked up, no license plate, and they are not moved. So for instance, where I live on my block, the garbage is stuck on the side between the pavement and the drainage, because the cars are not moving and the sweeper cannot sweep.
What we've had quite a few. We just received one today from East 26th Street. He sent in 2 pictures, and when these pictures are sent in to us, whether it has a license plate, whether it has New York, out of state, whatever it has on it, if you're able to, because I know some people they're unable to, if you're able to send in a physical address along with a picture, and this is what we send into 311, we send into the 607 precinct, and we send into sanitation as well. And we have been successful with getting at least 6 of them moved, 6 of them towed within the last 2 months or so.
Thank you.
Do you have an address, Miss McCain? Because we can even just send in the address.
Yes, I do.
Physical address that you can give, like the actual street address?
Yes. Do you want me to give you now?
Sure, you can give it, or you can type it in the chat if you're able to, whichever one works for you.
Okay. I'll type it in the chat.
Right. And Miss Freestad, Lulu, are you with us? Are you here, or?
Westcott is on. Sorry
Thanks
to be
so
late.
much, Mr. Westcott. Thanks everyone else for joining. I see a few people had joined after. Ms. Faison, Ms. Mackenzie, guys, we want to acknowledge everyone who's here. At
Good
this-
evening.
Good evening. Thank you so much for joining. At this time, we're going to leave a little bit of, if there is anything else pressing after, but just because we have this cleanup coming and we're trying to change behaviors, so to speak, I'm going to go ahead and ask our subcommittee, Ms. Lulu Friesdat, to go ahead and report on where we are. If you want to do the flyer, show us the flyer, anything else that we need from everyone who's on here with us. Lulu, please feel free to go ahead.
Hi, Carol. Thanks so much. Thanks for everybody for being here.
Thank you.
I'm really excited. So we have a lot of things in place for the April 29th kickoff for the cleanup. And the basic concept is that we'll have different locations around Flatbush. So we'll all be working together to beautify our neighborhood. And we're starting with litter cleanup, but these times can be used for just general beautification. If it winds up being that you want to use that time to plant flowers or trees, or to focus on like one particular car and getting it off the streets, or whatever we decide to do at this time. But our hope is that it's going to be once a month on the last Saturday of the month from 11 to 1. And our kickoff is April 29th, like I said, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And then we have a a poster, and there's different versions of the poster that hopefully are good for the different neighborhoods. So I made 3 so far, and I can make some more if we need, if it's, easier to, for different people to, to put up. So I think I'm going to share this one. Are you seeing my screen?
Yes, we are.
Okay, so this is the generic poster. It's called a reusable poster, so we could use it, we could print a lot of these and then just, then they don't, it's not like you print it and then they're for one date and then you have to throw them out if they don't get used. The great thing about this is that we can just write in the date and where we're meeting with a Sharpie. Doesn't take that long, to do, maybe 20 at a time, and then put them up around your neighborhood. So this is called the evergreen poster. It can be used for any date, any location. And then you can see that we've gotten a lot of cooperation from our elected officials here. We have Community Board 17 and the New York Department of Sanitation working with us. And then the Brooklyn Borough President, Assembly members Rodney Spichot Hermelin and Monique Chandler Waterman, Council members Rita Joseph and Farrah Lewis, and then quite a few of the block associations, as well as the Roger Tilden Veronica Place Garden. So, and the block associations we know are really kind of like the heart and soul of our neighborhoods. So that's Tilder, East 25th and East 26th, as well as East Flatbush Village. So that's super exciting that we're all, coming together to make this happen. And I can show you, I'm sorry, somebody, maybe people could mute if they're not speaking.
Click and hold it. Hold it.
Carol, did you want to mute?
Hi, Ms. Barton, are you able to mute everyone because I don't have presenter privileges?
Yes, I can mute everyone, but you'll have to sign, you and Miss Lulu will have to come back on.
Thank you.
And then I can show you sort of what the variations look like. There are a couple that have the actual address in. So this one, I think, is for the junction. I think I'm not muted yet. Okay, so this is basically the same poster, but it has the date already in, April 29th, and there's 2 locations on here, the junction and also the East 25th Street neighborhood. So that makes it easier. You don't have to fill it in, but obviously we wouldn't want to overprint those. And then I did make one, I saw Marjorie here. Marjorie, I made one for the 2 areas that the Tilder teams are trying to cover. And I'll show you what, I think I sent that one to you already. This is the one for Tilder.
I believe that's the one we posted in our billboard on the block.
Awesome. trying to share that poster. Yeah, so this one has our neighborhoods, Church and Nostrand, and Rogers, Tilder, Veronica Garden. And then I think there's a few other neighborhoods. I know, Mr. Westcott, I got your voicemail now. I know we just been playing phone tag. I'm so sorry. I didn't see your call come in today, but I could do one of these for your block also. It doesn't take me that long. And then we were trying to figure out maybe print up like 200 each for each neighborhood. The idea, the goal is to get hopefully a minimum of 10 or more volunteers at each of the locations. And then here's the way that we are hoping to get people to commit and for us to have a sense of, how many people we know so far have come out. So we have this Google form, and you're seeing my screen now, right? That's the Google form, and it says Let Flatbush Shine, and it's easy to find. I made a little URL so you can find it at tinyurl.com/Let Flatbush Shine, and I'll put that in the chat. And then this is a pretty quick form for people to fill out. It tells them the date and the time, and then it's various neighborhoods in Flatbush. So after they put in their email address and their name, it shows them each neighborhood where we're hoping to do the cleanup. So the neighborhoods right now: Veronica Garden, East 35th Street. Alem is heading that one up, and she wants everybody to meet at this elementary school. At the Junction, Candy, T.S. Candy's team leader there. Church Avenue and Nostrand, I'm the team leader there. Utica and Farragut, we need a new team leader for. Joan is out of town with a family, death in the family. So is George on the call?
I didn't see him, Lulu, and I tried
Okay.
calling him just before we had logged in. I'll try again.
Okay, if we
But
can't
I
get a
did not
team
see him.
leader, we'll cancel that location for this time. And then East 25th and East 26th, Carroll, and I know you've got your other block association over there for East 26th, and then Avenue D in Utica. I know that's Mr. Westcott and your whole crew over there. I think we have 4 people kind of down as team leaders over there, including, let's see, we had Mr. Blair, Millivan Blair, and Patricia Ralph and Mrs. Kelman are all working on that location. So then what the spreadsheet looks like when people fill out this form, it goes into a spreadsheet and we can see that people have signed up. Now, not hardly anybody has signed up yet, so we really need to get the word out. Carol and I signed up just to test to make sure it works, but this will tell us how many. Are you still seeing my screen? Carol, are you seeing my spreadsheet?
Yes, we are.
Okay, great. So this will tell us how many people we have signed up, and we'll be able to see what location they've signed up for. We'll be able to sort this by location. So we'll be able to see, like, well, we only got 4 people for this one, but we got 15 people over here. So one of the questions on the form actually is, would you be willing to work at a different location? So if we need to, we have this, are you willing to cover a different location? We can move people around a little bit. But so that is the basic concept. The basic concept is, oh, George is here. I see George Tate. George, do you want to unmute and say hello for a minute?
Yeah, good evening, and my apologies. I just signed in because I was with my granddaughter downstairs and I lost track of time. My apologies.
I'm delighted that you're, I'm really glad that you're here. Joan, I know you had volunteered to work cooperatively with Joan as a team leader at that location. I think it's Utica and Farragut. And then Joan just let me know that she got overwhelmed with family obligations. And we wanted to know if you would be able to step forward as team leader. And obviously, if you wanted to bring someone else from your neighborhood on board to help you, is that something you might be able to do?
Okay. I'm sorry. Remind me, what's the date again?
Sorry to put you on the spot like this. It's April 29th, so it's basically 2 weeks from this last Saturday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'm pretty sure I could do it, but give me a few minutes
Yeah,
to recover, because as I say, I just ran up from my granddaughter when her mother came to pick her up, so my head is still, but yes, I'll definitely think about it, but more likely than not, it would be yes, but let me just clear my head before I could say it.
that's so kind of you. Again, I'm sorry to
Okay.
put you on the spot like that.
No. Yeah.
So I'm going to put my phone number in the chat and also my email, so anybody who's welcome to
Okay.
contact me if you
They
have
said,
questions.
oh, okay, they got it.
Okay, so those are our locations, and the whole thing now is just we have team leaders. There's two things that I think we need to address. One is we're trying to persuade sanitation. I'm sorry, Mr. Tate, would you mind going ahead and muting yourself again? Thank you so much. We want to persuade sanitation to drop the tools off at each location. They were asking for the team leaders to come and pick up the tools, which we think is kind of a heavy lift. So we're trying to work that out. We're speaking with some of the elected representatives to see if they can help us navigate that with sanitation. So that's one challenge that we're working out right now, and we'll keep people posted what the status is. Tools is basically just like some brooms and dustpans. It's not that big a deal. I think, Carol, you're doing some of the items separately, right?
In terms of which items?
Yes, please.
In terms of which items, Lulu?
Yes, were you telling me you were doing garbage bags and gloves separately?
Yes, what we will be doing, the team leaders, we're going to be dropping off the garbage bags, the gloves, and some of the pickup sticks. We're going to be dropping that off to the team leaders a week before the event.
Okay, so it's garbage bags, gloves, and what else? I'm sorry.
We have those pickup sticks where those sticks that people can pick up the garbage.
Terrific. So the only thing really we're looking for from sanitation is the brooms and dustpans, right? And do they usually drop off some garbage cans, like those rolling cans at all?
I'm not aware of the garbage cans. I have to go to them to pick up the gloves and the bags, and then I redistribute it to the team leaders. But when we did it on our end here, they didn't drop off anything for us. We have to pick it up.
Right. I think that's going to wind up being, in my opinion, I think it's a heavy lift. Where is the address that they're asking us to pick it up from?
I can send you that address after. It's somewhere over there in Canarsie. When we did it on our block, it wasn't an issue. I went there with my car, I picked it up, and I dropped it off to 2 different locations. So that's why we're just trying to finalize everything now. And I can drop it off to the different team leaders a week ahead.
Right. So we'll get you the address, and we have a spreadsheet that has the address and contact information for all the team leaders. So you can coordinate that with people. I personally think a Canarsie pickup is just, in my opinion, too much to ask team leaders to go to Canarsie. I don't have a car, and I know people are busy with kids and, all kinds of things. I think it's already very nice that people are offering to be team leaders. And I think asking them to go to Canarsie is over the top. So
Lulu, just to clarify, the team leaders will not be picking anything up. I will be picking up the gloves and the bags and whatever else sanitation will be given to us. Then I will in turn distribute it to the team leaders. This is why I'm giving myself a week to get it to the team leaders. They're not going to be picking up the bags and the gloves.
Right, but there's the brooms and the dustpans. That's what we want sanitation to drop off, brooms and dustpans.
Did we get any of the elected officials to do that for us? I thought you had said that you would be coordinating with the elected officials.
This is what I'm saying. I have not had time yet, but I mean, I did start the dialogue. I reached out to Farrah Lewis's office and I said, you know, that sanitation was saying that we had to go and pick up the brooms and the dustpans. And I know Farrah Lewis's office was surprised to hear that. They said in the past the sanitation had dropped off brooms and dustpans previously. So they were, like me, surprised about that development. And they said they would work with us to try to negotiate with sanitation, but they didn't promise. They said they have other ongoing issues with sanitation that, you know, they have had challenges with. Candy, could you dive in?
Yes, thank you, Lulu. Um, I'm a team lead, and my organization is Black Trans Nation. We have dustpans and brooms, and also rakes that's in our stores that we can also pick up. We do have transportation as well. So if you know, going to go pick up the items from Carnarvon, if needed, I can second or have a second vehicle for any one that's picking up.
That would be awesome. So could you pick up brooms and dustpans and try to connect them to the other team leaders around the neighborhood? Is that possible?
Yes, and I yield the floor.
Oh, that's fantastic. Okay, so that solves that problem, and that's wonderful. Thank you so much. And then the other thing that we are just trying to do is get as many people signed up as possible. So I want to take questions and see what people have questions about. I'm going to put those links that we created into the chat where people can sign up with the Google form. And I also did one other thing. I created this document that's very easy to use to email to your friends, your neighborhood lists, your group lists. And I'll just share my screen one more time and I'll show you what that document looks like. Okay, so this is an email and the link to get here is, I'll put this in the chat. It's tinyurl.com/letflatbushshine.info. And it's basically like all your frequently asked questions. Let Flatbush Shine is an ongoing beautification project that will happen on the last Saturday of each month. It is a project that has been months in the making, and with your help, we are excited to launch it now. April 29th, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., locations around Flatbush. Here's that link that takes you directly to the Google form when you click it. And that's so people can sign up. Oh, and the other cool thing is on the poster, Carol created a QR code. So when you scan that QR code on the poster, it also takes you directly to the Google sign up thing. I thought that was so clever that Carol did that. Nicely done. Can I just show up even if I don't sign up? Sure, but we encourage you to sign up so we can plan. We hope to get 10 neighbors out to each location. What's happening? Neighbors, block associations, community gardens, elected officials, and New York Department of Sanitation are coming together to beautify our neighborhood. Activities include cleaning up litter, planting trees and flowers, locating and working to remove permanently parked cars and other large junk, reaching out to merchants to get them involved in keeping the neighborhood clean, changing the culture around littering, and spending time together and feeling joyful about our beautiful neighborhood. Will tools be provided? We will have brooms, dustpans, garbage cans, and gloves. It's actually going to be garbage bags, right? So we should make that garbage bags and gloves at the meetup locations. What to bring? Wear a hat, sunscreen, bring water and gloves if you have them. Will the bags of litter be picked up by sanitation? Yes, they will pick up from a designated spot for each location. Are there team leaders? Yes. And how do I find out more? And you have the email address for Carol. And there's a poster, and you can actually download the posters from this document. It has the links to print the posters. So if you want to just print a few for your neighborhood, you can. And I'm also going to get the links in there for the smaller size ones that are just for email. They'll be easier to email. And here is the URL to get to this document. Okay, so I'm going to just open up for questions, and hopefully everybody here at the meeting today will sign up right now, and we'll get a bunch of signups just to get us started, to get the ball rolling. So I'm going to put this link into the chat, and if you would please right now, I would love it if everybody here would commit to coming and signing up. So thanks so much. Questions?
Thank you, Lulu. I see Mr. Westcott's hand is up, and then Ms. Faison. Mr. Westcott, you're still with us? All right, we're gonna go to Ms. Faison, then we're gonna come back if Mr. Westcott has a further question.
Lulu, you and I briefly talked about funding for printing the posters. I'm wondering if anyone on this in this meeting has any ideas for funding sources.
Faison, the way it works, community board, we're gonna send it, we're gonna reach out to Ms. Fraser, and we're also gonna reach out to our elected officials for them to source the funding. Lulu and I spoke several times regarding the funding. Community board's budget, the budget is specific, and the budget that they gave us, we had set aside some of the budget for the poster. You're doing that separate poster that we're gonna use for the other part of the campaign. But we did speak earlier, and yes, we will be reaching out to the elected official, and we're going to go back to the community board as well to see what funding source they have.
Thank you so much.
And then I'll go ahead and show you that poster now. So there's kind of like the way we've been thinking about this campaign is in two parts. One, to get people excited about just beautifying, and secondly, to try to change culture and change behavior. So we hired a cartoonist, an illustrator, to create this poster, and it's not final yet. This is just a draft. I think it is going to be in color. And we had a meeting with a few of us where we talked about changes, but I wanted to kind of make sure we get all our changes at once so he doesn't have to keep making changes. So this one right now says, it's bad when even the rats are grossed out. But what we talked about doing is actually make the rats happy, and maybe remove the text altogether or just say, it's bad. And the rats would actually be like dancing joyfully around the around the garbage. I can show you like a few illustrations of rats and mice dancing and having a good time. These are really these are just generic ones that I found, and Gideon would be he would be doing his own. Just so like these are like happy rats, and and the idea is that we really don't want happy rats. We want the try to get back to his illustration. So I want to just try to get input from people. If you like this idea, or if you think that this could backfire, or people are going to be upset about this illustration, but I'll walk you through it a little bit, sort of what he's got going in here so far. He's got this tower of garbage, and we're asking him to make that even bigger with like a mattress leaning up against it, and maybe like an extra bag of garbage on top, and then the TV. And then you've got someone like throwing some food out their window, and you've got someone about to step in a pile of animal poop there. And the idea here is just to put these up in conjunction with the beautification posters to try to just bring some awareness to like, there is bad behavior and we do need to really change the culture. So I just wanted to get input on that and how people feel about a poster like that. I got input in the chat. Rat poster is super clever. And then also we want no rats. Yes, of course we want no rats, ideally. So any other input on that poster?
Hi, it's Danessa Kwashi.
Hi.
How about having no rats and something where it's a beautiful picture of having like something really nice, like we went from having a nice apartment building or grass, trees, something that really looks beautiful, a nice environment.
So you're saying you're not into this poster at all that has the bad behavior on it?
No, I like the bad behavior, but then show the good behavior, what you would have without having that you have the bad behavior, now you have the good behavior.
Oh, I see. So it's almost like a two panel, and you have the bad behavior on the left, and then you have on the right like a beautiful neighborhood with trees and flowers.
Yes.
That's interesting. I think that's kind of cool. Anybody else?
No, I agree with the squashy, as I was thinking like a before and after effect type of thing, right? Yeah, because this is what we have, and this is what our goal is to beautify our neighborhood.
Cool. I think that sounds really cool. And I,
Excuse me.
yeah,
I am unable to see anything. I'm on the phone. This is Miss Cook speaking.
hi,
Good
how are
evening,
you?
everyone. I just have one remark or question or statement. I am just trying to imagine what is being explained because I'm on my phone. However, I agree that it should have a before and the after should be someone picking up after themselves. We cannot have the community believing that we have people within the community picking up after those who do not who do not pride themselves in keeping a clean community, that they have people picking up after them. In other words, what I'm trying to say, I'm trying to be brief. That's why I'm kind of tripping up on myself here. It's like telling a child to clean the room. The child doesn't clean the room. Your mother or the parents or someone always cleaning up the room, and they say, well, they'll clean it up anyway. Let me leave it dirty. We do not want that kind of atmosphere. So if we can do a before and after, have someone picking up after themselves. Thank you very much for listening.
Love that idea, Ms. Cook. So then it could, in the after side, there might be someone who's actually like putting their can into, their soda can into a garbage can, like they're like a litter can on the corner or something like that, like modeling good behavior. I think these are really cool ideas. And let me talk to Gideon and see what he's able to do. And then we have to figure out, again, printing costs and, seeing if the elected reps can help us out with that. But I think those.
Sorry, one more thing. You said I agree with the soda can, but we have to do paper plates also. Thank you.
Okay.
And napkins.
Paper plates, napkins. Yeah, sort of like some takeout food going into the garbage can, maybe takeout remains. This is all super helpful. And then we just want to make sure that we have other, we need to get other questions. Were people able to?
Hi, it's Vanessa again. Maybe it could be 3 phases.
He's not getting very much money, I have to tell you. This
No. It's 3 pieces on the poster where
I know,
it has.
but he has to draw all that.
If he's the artist, he can do that. Where you have the garbage, you have the person picking up, and then you have the beautification.
All right, well, let me talk to him and see what he's willing to do. I think maybe one before and after would might get it clear. But do people have other questions about the cleanup itself? I think if you can always, I put my email in the chat. So if you have other ideas about the poster, I would say just email me. I'll put my email is hi@sugarworks.com. It's hi@SHUGAH works, WORKS.com, hi@sugarworks.com. So any questions about the actual cleanup day on April 29th?
Mr. Westcott, I saw you first, and then Mr. Tate. Mr. Westcott, you're still with us? I see your hand keep going up and down. Mr. Tate, we're going to go to you, then Ms. Kwashe, then we're going to bring it back around because we have a few other issues as well.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to respond to Ms. Cook, her suggestion, because I agree with her in that we don't want to babysit the neighborhood. And I did say that at the beginning of when this came all about. However, we still need to put that part, as Ms. Quashie mentioned, that what we want the community to look like. Because quite frankly, I'm doing this, but I'm not in favor of cleaning up after anyone on a regular basis. And I mentioned that from the beginning, that we don't want to spoil not only our neighbor, but the business people either. But yes, let's show them what a clean neighborhood looks like, and yes, do something to let them know that they need to clean up afterward. But I don't think we should take out that part about showing what a clean neighborhood look like.
Thanks,
You
Mr.
follow
T.
me?
I'm confused what the gist of the comment is.
The gist of the comment is that we have suggested, Ms. Quashi has suggested that we put like the before and after. And if I understand correctly, Ms. Cook said that instead of that, what we should put is people cleaning up after themselves after we do the cleaning. But I still, that's fine, but I think we still should have show on the poster what a clean neighborhood looks like. So Ms. Quashi mentioned like a threefold, if it could be done. But we cannot put one and take out the other.
I understand. I don't think we can do 3, but I think we could clearly do the one on the left that looks a mess and the one on the right that looks beautiful and includes a person like putting their garbage into a can so that we have a clear example of, you know, what we all agree is good behavior, good, you know, courteous behavior. So I think
that would be great.
Yeah,
Yes.
but I have to talk to the artist and see what he's willing to do. But I think these are cool ideas. Other questions about the cleanup?
Ms. Quashi, I saw your hand. Is it regarding where we are or new business or?
Yes. So after we have the cleanup, what is the accountability factor? Because it goes into the fact of we clean up, we do this, we bump our heads. So where is the accountability factor? This was one of the questions I had at the beginning of this discussion. Where is enforcement coming along with this project?
I think that's a really good question. My thoughts on it are, one, as we're out there in the community, we need to be talking especially to the merchants. And that was one of the things we did when last time we did the Church of Nostrand cleanup. We went door to door with the merchants and reminded them that it is their responsibility legally to keep their sidewalk and gutter clean. And if we're coming back each month, we can check on them. I actually think that we need to start like maps where we're seeing which merchants are keeping the area clean and which merchants are not. And if we need to start working with sanitation or the police department to get tickets, then we have to do that because that's their responsibility. And it has to be a little bit of carrot and a little bit of stick, in my opinion.
And Ms. Quashi, just to update you, speaking to the merchants and speaking to the community, it does work because we had one of the branch managers that adopted, I believe is it Church and Nostrand? So she adopted Church and Nostrand and she has been keeping that area a little cleaner than it was before. They've even started to put some plants there as well. So yes, the accountability has to be the community. It has to be changing, not only changing the behavior for that one day, but changing it for the future, because this is not sustainable. It's not sustainable for anyone to be cleaning up after anyone on a continuous basis.
I totally agree.
And someone else said something, just so we don't miss anyone.
I totally agree. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lulu. Thank you so much. And I know what we were trying to do here is to get a few more people to commit, just to not per se signing up, but coming out and cleaning up. If you're unable to do it, just send someone out who will be assisting. And again, you can email us. You can email sanitation. Lulu showed where you can go to that poster as well. The tiny URL, the QR code, we have all that information in there. But the idea is we need to get people to commit as well. But I also want, Lulu, just to make sure that you've covered everything though, is there anything else you might need to pass on?
I think we want to have one more organizational meeting. So we were going to have it next Saturday at 11, but Tilder's having a block association at 11 that I want to be at. So maybe we could have the organizational meeting online for this at noon. I see my teams, quite a few team leaders on here. I see Mr. Westcott and Mr. Blair and TS Candy. Could you do noon next Saturday as an organizational meeting?
No, this coming Saturday I would not be available. Okay, because
Okay.
yeah, because
I'll email
no,
people individually. George, can you, I need to get your contact information. Could you put it privately in the chat to me?
no, I could put it on the chat. It's no problem. Everyone has it. Yeah, everyone has my information.
Okay, then
It's
I'll
not a
send,
problem.
you're so kind. I'll send around an email to the team leaders and we'll figure out. I think we need we need one more organizational meeting before the 29th. Marjorie?
Yes, I had put in the chat, and it may be embedded in the sign up form, but will the cleanups take place, rain or shine? That was my question.
Yes, it will, Ms. Faison. I've just responded, and the reason for this is because of all the stuff that will be handed out.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm gonna pull back on that Saturday at noon, Mr. Blair. Let's try to, because George hasn't really had a chance to get in the loop yet, so I want to make sure that he can be at whatever meeting we set up. So if it's okay, I'll send around an email and we'll try to figure out when is a time that we can all get together, hopefully sometime next weekend. And then I would just implore you, could you please go ahead and sign up? Does it make sense that tinyurl.com/letflatbushshine? If you click on that or put that into your phone or your browser, it will take you to that Google form. And it would be so lovely if we left here with several people having signed up that they're going to be there on the 29th. Could anybody put their hand up if you're planning on coming? Candy is going to be there. Thank you so much. And Mr. Westcott's going to be there. Anybody else planning on coming on the 29th from 11 a.m.? Ms. Faison, thank you. That's wonderful. I'm going to be there. Put my hand up.
Apologies, I'm disturbing. As I said, I do not know how to put up my hand on the phone. My apologies. This is Ms. Cook. I would be out of town on that day. My apologies.
I understand.
But I told a few neighbors about it, and I would ask around and encourage.
That would be great. Does the link make sense to you? That tiny URL/letflatbushshine? Does that make sense?
I'm on my phone, and I never did WebEx on my phone before, so I'm just playing around with it. I'm going to text someone and ask them if they can take the information for me if they're on their computer.
Do you want me to email it or text it to you?
You can email it to me, or yeah, you can email me.
Do you want to put your email in the chat for me?
I don't know how to do the
Oh,
chat.
right. What did you want to tell me your email?
But my email, yes, M as in mother, A as in Alfred, J as in Jack. That's MAJCK, the number 3 at gmail.com.
Okay, I'm going to mail you that link so you can have your friends or neighbors sign up. Anybody else who thinks that they're going to be able to come on the 29th? George, you're going to be there. That's great.
Can I also have it?
Yeah. Yes, I went through the link. If you could see that, I was able to access it through the link and sign up.
All right. Thanks so much, George. I still see Ms. Faison, your hand is up from before.
I'm sorry, can I say
yes,
something?
I'll take it down. Thank you.
I hear someone say, can I say something? Who may I ask is speaking?
This is Jadiva. I had to switch to WebEx because I was trying to speak on the audio and it wasn't working out.
Thanks, Jadiva. Yes, please go ahead.
I won't be able to make it because I work on most Saturdays, unfortunately. So, if Lulu, if I can put my email in the chat and you can send it to me so I can distribute it other places because I'm unable to be there because of the times. I work until the evening on Saturdays.
That would be wonderful. Thank you so much. Yeah, I will email you if you put that.
Okay. This is my first time using the WebEx, so I think I'm gonna get it right. Okay.
You're doing great.
I don't know how to do it, but okay.
Thanks everyone again. Thanks, Lulu. If any question comes up, you've had several emails shared, so you can reach out to any of the emails. The biggest thing with these cleanups, we've done it a few times on with our block association. It's just for people to show up. And again, yes, we don't want to set a precedent that we will be cleaning up after anyone consistently. This is why we have our elected leaders or elected officials on board. We will have a community walk as well. This coming Friday, the 67th precinct will be walking through the community, addressing crime, and there will be future walks with sanitation as well. So we're going to be sending these out to you, and we're hoping that you will be able to join. But at this time, I just want to circle it back. Miss Mackenzie is waiting patiently. She said she wanted to address issues in her neighborhood. So we're now going to go to new business. If there is anyone else after, please feel free to put up your hands, or you can speak right after Miss Mackenzie. Miss Mackenzie, the floor is yours.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so I'm a homeowner on Linden between Bedford and Rogers, and the sanitation are unable to clean the streets because the people, they sit in their cars and they don't move at all. And right after the sweeper leaves, I have to go out and clean the street. And that really is bugging me. They just drive past. So it's like, we just paying the sanitation guy to just no one to reinforce the laws. The ticket agent comes, but she's not giving the tickets because they sit in their cars.
So the ticket agent is showing up, but not giving out any tickets at all?
They give out tickets to people that's not in the people that are not in their cars.
Mm-hmm.
But no one moved for the street to be cleaned.
Right. What I'm going to do, I'm going to drop, when this happens over on this side, and we've used this before, our sanitation supervisor, we need to complain to her as well. Her name is Miss Thomas. I'm going to go ahead and put her name and her number in the chat. Whenever this happens, you call her right away, let her know what the issue is, and if they're not issuing tickets, we need to let her know. They should be out there reporting it. They should move their cars until after it has been swept at least.
Right, they're not.
So I'm putting Mrs.
So tickets, it wouldn't matter with the tickets because, okay, so they're not ticketing them because they're in there, sitting in their cars.
Right.
But when the truck comes by to sweep, no one moves. Then I go out and I'll ask the people in front of my house, could they just move the car so at least I get the front of my house swept? And then sometimes I get cursed out.
Totally understand. I'm putting her name and number in here. And if you don't mind, you don't have to give us your address, but can you give us an address closest to you at least?
Doesn't bother me. No, I'm 142 Linden.
142 Linden, and this is between Bedford and Rogers.
Correct.
All right, so what we're going to do, is there an email address? Do you check your emails, Miss Mackenzie? Yes. Or what's your email address?
It's MM, that's Mary, Husky, HUSKY, 153 at Gmail.
What we're going to do, we're going to CC our sanitation contact as well. We're going to send it on to the sanitation contact, and we're going to include you on that email.
Please, I would appreciate that. And then I have a building that's one of these new apartment buildings they build up. The garbage is supposed to go out, of course, after 8 o'clock. They put their garbage out from 9 o'clock in the morning, and it's an apartment building. So I have to deal with all these rats running over to my yard.
Did you report it to 311 or to any officials before?
No, I did not. That one I did not call to make the 311. I asked the super that's doing it, if he could just, follow the rules, but he says it's not his building and he have to go to other buildings, so he don't care about tickets. So no, I think I called 311.
You can definitely report it. We've seen where they've sent agents out when they put out the garbage when they're not supposed to, and they ticket the building itself. Even if it's not his, they have to comply with the law.
Right. Okay.
Thanks so much, Miss Mackenzie. Miss Martinez, I see your hand, and Mr. Tate's hand as well. I don't know who went up first.
Mr. Tate was before me.
Mr.
Ladies
Tate?
first. Ladies first. He's probably going to say the same thing I'm going to say. Go ahead.
I doubt it. For one thing, that number you gave out for the Miss Thomas, no one, if they do answer the phone, the person is never available
Wow.
at
You
that
haven't been getting
sanitation
a
office.
response?
No. Because I've had her call me in the past to ask me not to call to Manhattan. But
So she called you and said, don't call Manhattan, and they're not picking
yeah.
up?
And or when somebody answers, the supervisor's never there, and he'll tell the supervisor. I mean, because we have a problem on that little Clarendon Road Mall. I filed several complaints. I will look for the complaint numbers. They did clean it up, but they have to have some other type of action there, because one day it's clean and like a couple hours later, someone's dumping there again, and then it grows into a large pile before it's cleaned up.
And that's the Clarendon Mall, not too far from
It's
Footprints, right?
Right, between 57th and 58th. But they either need cameras there, or they need to make the owner of that mall be more responsible for the cleanliness of it, the outside.
Totally understand. There's always garbage spilling over when I drive by.
Well, the Yoli's restaurant on the corner has gotten numerous sanitation summonses. I don't think he really cares. And he just doesn't seem to get it. And but it's the next to the laundromat's dumpster is where this stuff is dumped. But it doesn't belong to the laundromat, to the point where I noticed they have a chain and a lock on their dumpster.
So they're not even using it, or it's not
No, it's not
accessible.
theirs. The garbage is not theirs. So people are dumping there, and sometimes it's construction stuff there. There's a shower door. It's nothing that belongs to the laundromat.
Right, right. No, since you're saying they had asked you not to call Manhattan, what number had you been using for Manhattan that worked for you in terms of these sanitation issues?
I used to communicate directly with Teresa Cunningham, but she's not that responsive these days. So I just use the hotline, the sanitation hotline they have there for customer service.
Got it. All right. Thanks, Miss Martinez. I'm going to put that hotline in there. We've still been keeping Miss Cunningham on our emails. She doesn't respond every day, but she gets back to us. Or she has the sanitation rep who address the issue. They're the ones that would be responding to the email to say it has been cleaned up or whatever action they took. And Mr. Tate?
Yeah, yes. Yeah, I wanted to follow up on what Ms. Mackenzie mentioned about the cars. If they have someone sitting in the car, they are not issued, they don't move and they're not issued a summons. I think we need to discuss that with the enforcement, because if they are sitting in the car, technically they could still get a ticket. But normally they will ask them to move. And if they're not moving, then they're supposed to do summons them. So whoever the enforcement officer is there and not summoning them when they don't move, they're not doing their job. So that's another thing. I don't know if it's the Ms. Mackenzie meant it was sanitation, I would say the traffic enforcement officers that are not giving out the tickets. That's it. That's if it's a traffic enforcement officers, then we need to contact them as in addition to contacting sanitation, because that means they are not doing their job.
No.
It makes no sense if they're going to sit there and don't move their car. They have to
Right.
move the car. By law, they're supposed to move it. And even if they're sitting there, if you have a strong-willed traffic enforcement officer, they could give them a ticket without even asking them to move.
They don't. They just keep walking by.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying, that they're not doing their job, so they need to be contacted too.
And this is where the supervisor line comes in, but I'm hearing Ms. Martinez is saying that they're not picking up.
Yes, but there are actually traffic enforcement officers that they don't work through sanitation. You know, like I wish Adele Bennett was in there and this call, because she's a traffic enforcement officer. I think they're part of the police department. They go through the police department. I think that's what they work for.
Yes.
Yeah, they work for the police department. So
They don't come either. They don't come either when you call them most of the time.
No, but if someone is coming by and not doing the job, then they need to be reported to the proper authority that they're not doing the job. Because
Report them. Nothing happens.
Yeah, but we have to, because I have seen it on my blog. I have seen them come and tell people to move. And they move, but again, not everybody do their job the way they're supposed to. So, but they do need to move.
Thank
But
you,
I do
Mr.
have,
Cave.
yeah, but I do have. I want to point something out. Last week on my blog, I saw the sweeper came 9 minutes after 10. Get the car come by then. I have moved my car to that side already. I'm sitting there warming up the car a little more, and everybody was through that. He came around, so he cleaned up the 2 or 3 spots that were still open. But this was 9 minutes after 10. I just laughed because I know Miss Quatry we've been fighting with them about this forever, and I can't remember what day it was. That was last week. I was sitting there, I was at 9 after 10. But there was so many things in my mind last week that I really didn't get a chance to take a picture and then send it to Miss Kouachi to back up our letters to them.
And you can always go immediately to 311 as well. And I see T.S. Candy and Miss Kwashe. T.S. Candy?
Yes, I just wanted to, for point of clarity, individuals go down to their car before it's time for sanitation to avoid tickets. That's why when sanitation come around, that's why individuals sits in their car to avoid a ticket. Um, and so when it comes down to law enforcement, coming around, law enforcement, if you are sitting in your car and you're double parked, law enforcement can ask you to move. Um, can ask you to move, but I just want to say, like, when it come down to like law enforcement enforcing, I mean, because individuals go down to their car to avoid tickets, because as long as you're sitting in your car, you don't get no ticket. So there's, it's laws that cover, individuals. That's why they go down there and sit in their car. And when law enforcement come and, you all complain, that's why nothing has been done, because there is a law in place to protect us. I yield the floor.
Totally understand. Miss Mackenzie was just saying that she wished they would stay on one side until after it's swept. And I know why they're also sitting on that side. They're securing that spot because I
Right.
see it all over. But at the same time, we complain that it's filthy, but we're a big part of our own problem. I just see it every single day. And when I say we, I mean it's common sense, like to leave the car or sometimes even park on a different block. I live on a block where people think they just have to get a parking on this block. And I don't know where that mentality came from because New York is open streets. But I'm gonna go to I see Miss Cook, Miss Quashi. Oh, I'm sorry, Miss Quashi, Miss Cook, Mr. Westcott, and Miss Martinez.
Okay. One, I would like to ask everyone to do us a favor as a community. If you see sanitation is late or has not cleaned your block properly, please call 311 and put in a ticket, because this is the only way we're going to get respect in this community, in Community Board 17. Please raise the 311 tickets. I cannot do it alone.
Can I say
Okay?
about that 311? I have called 311.
Just put the tickets in. Just put the tickets in. That's all we
What they
need.
do is they said they will call the precinct. They'll send a ticket to the precinct. So the precinct comes maybe 3 hours after. I have to give them one plate number, and they came and they gave one. When they come, time is past. I
I'm
called
talking
2 times
I'm
already.
I'm talking about the street cleaning.
That's what I'm talking about. I called.
Okay.
And when I called 311, she told me that she will send the message over to the precinct.
To the
She said
precinct for the street. That's not for street cleaning. That's for the cars
exactly
to be
my point
moved.
exactly. My point exactly. She said to give her one car plate that is in a spot that they're not supposed to be in. I said the whole block. And she told me that so the cops came 3 hours after. So street cleaning time already passed. So
Okay, my dear, you're not listening.
I heard you. I'm telling you that I called 311 to tell them that the people in the street are not, they're sitting in their cars and they're not moving for street cleaning.
Okay, that's a different issue. That's a different issue than what I'm saying. Okay? If the sweeper comes down your block because he couldn't sweep because
Right,
there was cars parked there, that's
right.
one issue. Another issue, if the sweeper did not come down your block and he was supposed to clean, that's another issue. If the sweeper came down your block and it was after the time he was supposed to come, that's another issue.
I don't have that issue.
Okay, the issue we were talking about was the third issue, when they come late after the time.
Okay, I don't have that issue.
Okay, so those three issues are important. Now, what I want to talk about is your issue.
Mm-hmm.
Call the hotline number. If your time is, for instance, 8:30 to 10,
Right.
call the hotline number at 8 o'clock
Mm-hmm.
and tell them the cars are not being moved on your block for 8:30. They will
Okay.
make sure that the
Mm-hmm.
supervisor comes down that block for
Okay.
8:30 and start handing out tickets. Now, that won't guarantee the cars will be moved, but that will guarantee that they'll get tickets. And more than likely, they will move those cars on that Thursday or Tuesday or Wednesday, Tuesday or Thursday or Friday the next time. You'll have less cars there the next time, because I
It's a
had that
hotline
problem.
number.
Huh? The hotline number, I'll put it in the chat.
Okay. All right.
Okay?
Thank
All
you.
right. So, but I'm asking everyone, please, if you see your street is not properly cleaned by the sweeper, put in a 3-1 ticket or call the hotline number half an hour before the street cleaning is supposed to happen. This is the only way we're going to get our community clean. And the next thing we need to do is start talking to our person who was Farrah Lewis, to talk about getting the laws changed on the books so we can start getting summonses handed out to people who like to dump in our community. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the next issue we got to hit, because people are just sitting there dumping lotto tickets on our property after we done swept up, and we come back out, people are just dumping food and everything else, and I'm sick of it. So yes, we got to start doing things. We got to start using our voices. And I'm
And the
finished.
dog, who do we deal with the dog poo?
I can't say what I want to say.
Miss Kwashi, you're on the record, Miss Kwashi.
I know. I know.
Thanks so much, Miss Kwashi. Miss Mackenzie, the dog poop is considered litter, is considered sanitation. It would be the same 311. It would be the same elected officials. Miss Barton, I
Okay.
just want to make sure the numbers that are on here, the phone numbers, that we have them accounted for as well, because I'm looking at the time. We have approximately 10 minutes.
Okay, I'm only missing who is the one that ends in 11 and the one that ends in 82. 25 is Yolanda Alim.
And 82, I'm looking at the call log. 82 is Donovan Wither.
Okay.
You're missing, are you missing any now then, or?
The 11, the one ending in 11.
In 11, let me see if that's on your call log. That's Eduardo Cameron. And guys, the reason why, for everyone on here, the reason why we try to keep full accountability on here, we have some people who come in and listen in, and they go back and they report to the officials without us getting help. So we're really trying to make sure that we know who's on the call. And it is a community. Everyone has to pitch in, and we have to hold our elected officials accountable. Mr. Westcott and Ms. Cook. Mr. Westcott, you're still there? Ms. Cook, I'm going to ask you to please go ahead. Then I see Ms. Freesdat.
Yes, this is Miss Cook. I'm going to be very brief. What I was thinking, I don't know if you repeated it or if it's the same thing. The young lady who spoke up, who lives on Linden Boulevard between Bedford and Rogers, what I was about to say to her, if the person who, the sanitation car supervisor, whoever comes around, if she can take the plate or the number of the car so she can report that individual for not giving tickets because they're supposed to give the tickets.
Okay.
That's my statement. If you can also report those people who are in the cars who are not doing their jobs, but you have to take the license plate or I think the cars, well, long ago they used to have a number on them. I don't know. I see newer cars now. I don't know if they have a number.
They
Okay.
walk. They
Thank you.
walk. They don't have a car. They walk.
Well, do they have a badge on them or do they have a name tag
Yes.
on them? Whatever it is, take that and report it. Thank
Okay.
you. Have a
Thank
good
you.
evening.
Thanks,
Have a
Ms.
good
Cook.
evening, everyone.
Ms. Kwashi, you have anything else, or that's from before we go to Ms. Freesdat?
Oh, I'm finished. I'll take my hand down. Sorry.
Yes, Ms. Freesdat.
George, can you just make sure to put your email or phone in the chat so I can get in touch with you? And then we'll figure out when we're going to have a meetup for the team leaders this week. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that. But I thought that you might have seen it from my signing into the email through the link that you sent. But I'll put it in the chat too. No
Thank
problem.
you so much.
You're welcome.
Does anyone else have any new business that they'd like to discuss? Anything else regarding sanitation? And we've put the email address in the chat several times. Ms. McCain, I did receive your email. I'm looking at the inbox now regarding selling of wares on residential street.
Thank you.
Blocking hydrant, blocking
Yes.
walkway. And all of this, again, we usually forward it in, but it helps if you also report it to 311. But since we have whenever we have your email address, just to reiterate, we include you on anything that comes back after it has been fixed, so to speak.
Okay. And I have the 2 311 numbers in there.
I see it. Thank you so much for doing that. Yes, it is in there as well.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Any other new business to discuss?
Actually, I'm sorry. Just on the sanitation issue, there was a time when sanitation would send a dedicated truck when you had a block cleanup. And I don't know if they're still doing that. Perhaps I need to just reach out to our local sanitation department, but I don't know if anyone on this call has any information on that.
Will do, Miss Faison. I'm going to put her information in the chat. This is the sanitation contact that we currently have, Miss Yanni. You can definitely request it from her. It depends on the day of the cleanup. It depends on the availability. The last time we did it, they did not send, but before we were able to get a truck. And it is very useful because your neighbors can bring out all the large items that they want to get rid of on that day. So I'm just going
Miss Carol,
yes,
they don't do that anymore. You have
they
to put
don't do
out
it
your large
anymore.
bulk items on the last day of your pickup.
We didn't get it the last time. Thanks so much, Miss Carol. We did not get it, but I don't know. Maybe I'm wondering if she can try anyway. But we didn't get it for our last one either.
Right.
No, no, we tried it with the church and they told us no. They used to do it as a courtesy, but they are no longer allowed to do it.
And it's extremely useful because that's when
Yes.
everyone would get rid of all those old stuff that they had sitting in the backyard or wherever. Thanks, Mr. Tate. Thanks, Miss Carol. I'm Miss Faison. I'm just dropping it in here. I always say it never hurts asking, right? But we
That's
didn't get
right.
it,
Thank
and
you.
2 other people also said they didn't get it.
Yes, we didn't get it last year either, but thank you for looking into it.
Can I just jump in here? Pardon me for just jumping in. This is Miss Cook. Is there a possibility that you can go to our officials and ask them about that, whether it's the assembly, the council member, and ask them to see if we can get the truck?
Well, the way the truck works, we have the truck. When we do this cleanup, we've already been in touch with Miss Yanni. And what they're going to do, they're going to have a truck that will be picking up the garbage that we leave at the different corners. They're going to pick it up on that same day. At least that's what they're supposed to do. That's what they did when we had our cleanup. But in terms of a truck, Miss Cook, when certain blocks are having their personal cleanup, that's when they usually request a truck, and sanitation would bring it at a certain time. The neighbors would come out with their stuff and dump it in. So are you on a block where you think that you're asking for your block, or?
No, I was just asking in general. I was just asking in general, according to the conversation, when they said they were not getting the trucks anymore. So I was wondering if it's possibility, since they said they did not get the truck in the last 2 cleanups, if there's possibility to go to the officials to see if they can help.
Mr.
It has
T?
to do with the budget.
Thanks, Miss Barton. And I was just going to ask Mr. Tate, did you go through the officials? Miss Faison, did you go, or you went directly to sanitation as well?
I went directly to sanitation for
Yeah.
our district. And we were told,
Same
as
here.
someone just mentioned, that it's no longer budgeted for.
Even if we go to the elected officials, then I don't want to say it will not work, but that's what we're hearing.
I agree.
Yeah, I actually called constituent services in the Manhattan office too, and they told us the same thing. That as a matter of fact, we had at the church, we had 2 members who were retired sanitation workers, and they couldn't even help with it, not even as a favor to them. You know, so.
All right. Thanks so much. Thanks for everyone. Ms. Friesdat?
I just wanted to double check with you about the rain date. I saw on the form that we sent to the sanitation that we had listed a rain date for April 30th. And it does seem like it might be a good idea. It's probably wouldn't be that much fun to be out in the rain cleaning up litter.
We can revisit that, but I remember we went back and forth with her, and we were just keeping it at the same on the same day. For us that are on here, just by a show of hand, who just think that we should just have a rain date? I mean, it doesn't matter. We can go back to her and just let her know what our committee thinks. And thanks for that, Miss Freeze. That I see quite a few people. I'm hoping that most of them are still with us. All right. So we can definitely go back. We're going to email her and let her know that we will. And Miss Faison, that comes back to your question that you had asked. We're going to let her know that we will go back and adhere to this rain date that we had initially put on the form.
Thank you, because I think that there, you may get a lot of no-shows
If it rains.
Yeah.
Alrighty, agreed. Is there anything else in terms of new business? We're coming to the end, and we just want to make sure if it's totally new.
Dr. Renaud?
Mr. Tate, Carol is fine.
Okay. Yes, thank you. Yeah, no, my hands are up. I just wanted to mention the rain date. Did you say would have been April 30th? That would be the Sunday?
Yes, it would be, right.
Okay. Did you, and not trying to tell you how to run your business, but did you check to see how many here would be available that Sunday, since most of us are like committed to church on Sundays?
We did not really check. I don't want to say we did and we did not, because initially we had canceled the rain date, but we can probably even revisit it further and put it for the following Saturday if most people might say it's not working for them.
Yes, because I would suggest maybe the following Saturday, because really Sunday, I don't know how many of us here go to church on Sundays and how many would be willing to give up that Sunday to do this. So that's something that needs to be taken into consideration, because at the last minute, in case it rains, you don't want to wind up with half of the people saying, I can't make it tomorrow, on that day.
And no worries, I'm writing it here. And just by a show of hand again, how many people would prefer the following Saturday, which is May 6th, instead of that Sunday? All right. So I saw at least, I'm just writing a number here. I saw at least approximately 8 or 10 hands went up.
I'm
So
sorry, can you repeat the question?
not a problem. The question is, Mr. Tate brought up that we are in a I don't want to say a belief system society where many
Yeah, about
people
church on
are
Sundays.
right, where many people are involved in other activities on Sunday. So instead of having a rain date on Sunday, we might want to make it on May the 6th, which is the following Saturday.
Okay.
All right. Again, I saw at least 8 or 10 different people, so we're noting that. And I definitely think it should be the following Saturday based on the response. Thanks so much for that, for bringing that up. Anything else that we think might interfere with people's rest or with family time or with whatever it is they're attempting to do? And we know we have a lot of issues in this community. I've been attending these meetings for quite some time now. Every time we believe we have one corner fixed, something flares up somewhere else. And we have so many other issues compounded as well. I truly appreciate your time. The community board appreciates your time. And when the conversation was started regarding this cleanup, we keep stressing behind the scenes, we are definitely in agreement that everyone has to be on board. we need to stop people from doing what they're doing, and sometimes it's not going to work unless they hit them directly with a ticket or financially, right? So that's where we're hoping that this will end. And I just want to make sure that I'm not leaving anyone out. I saw Jadiva's hand up, Mr. Westcott, Ms. Friesdat, Ms. Smith. Anyone has any last minute item that they're adding, or that's just from or querying whether we should be changing the dates?
Yeah, that was mine.
All right, Mr. Tate, you have one last thing. Mr. Westcott, Ms.
Yes,
Silcott, you have something?
yes. No, this is George.
Yes, Mr. Tate. Briefly, then I'll go to Mr. Ms.
Yeah,
Silcott.
just a reminder about the composting side, the drop off at the scrapper at Nostrum and Newkirk. It's still going, it's still ongoing every Wednesday from 9 to 3 o'clock. And it's growing, but growing very slow. As a matter of fact, I've been there every week, and this Wednesday I was number 9, which was which was good considering they didn't have that many of the previous weeks. But also, I just wanted to mention to you, Miss, that yesterday I went they had the Earth Day at in Manhattan. In the evening, in the afternoon, I went there, and they gave out. They have like a little compost. They have some little bags that you go, and then they give you a container that way you could keep the compost in there. I should have taken a picture, so another one they were giving them out for free in Manhattan. So if it's something that they could give us in Manhattan at Union Square Park, I think it may be something that we could speak to sanitation about if I could give it to the community board 17. But we could, Dr. Renaud, we could talk about that on the side, because I could send you a picture of what I got, and we could discuss it, not to hold anyone up. Okay?
Not a problem. Thank you so much, Mr. Tate. And I saw NYC Grow at Grand Army Plaza on Saturday as well, but not with the containers. They were just collecting compost. Miss Silcott and Miss Smith and Miss Martinez, briefly, because we're over the time.
Everyone, Ms. Renault, I know you had communicated with me and I did respond back, but I'm not sure if you got my response. I was talking about the young people or Sabbath keepers, so we would not be able to run the thing, the Saturday thing, but like on a Sunday we could do. I could spoke with the leader of the group, and she's willing to pull them out to do some cleanup. But maybe we could talk about this off. I'm not sure.
Not a problem, Ms.
How
Silcott.
that will work.
I'm penning it here, and I'm definitely going to email you. I'm making a note here. We can email because maybe there's a local cleanup or something that can be done in your area on a different day, unless. But I'm penning it here. I'm putting it down as number 5.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm just taking the notes here as we go. Thank you so much, Miss Smith, and then Miss Martinez, and then we're wrapping it up. I see Miss Smith is not there. Miss Martinez, briefly.
I just want to know if the committee plans to deal with the DEP issues as well, since that's part of this committee, because there are quite a few in the community, like the catch basins not being cleaned on a regular basis by DEP. And, there's several street issues which are DEP's concern as well.
If you see any catch basins that are not being cleaned, we're being asked to send that into 311 as well. I saw they were cleaning ores at the corner recently. They did it on near Clarendon and Avenue D. They did both corners. So they're saying that this is how they know where they need to go. I mean, these things, they know it has to be done at least twice or more a year. but they're asking that we send this into 311 as well. But if you see any that's clogged up, Miss Martinez, you can always send us an address. And after you report it, we're also going to report it.
I usually call and get it done, but as a whole, there's a lot of them in the community that are not being addressed, and and in general, our community lacks any kind of infrastructure, so we really have to be careful with that because there are water main breaks and all that.
And that's why we had that flooding when we had that bad rain the other day, because many of them weren't clean.
Right.
But please feel free to send it on the same way you've been sending in the garbage and everything else. And we're going to, in addition to what you're doing, we're going to go ahead and do 311 as well. Thanks, Miss Martinez. Miss Silcott, your hand is up from before, or? And one last call for Miss Jadiva Smith. For those of us who are still on here, I definitely want to say thank you so much again. Just to reiterate, please remember what I say. Someone else has something?
That was me. That was my hand was up by accident. I didn't mean to have it up.
Thanks so much, Ms. Smith. Just to reiterate, please remember what I said I will be dropping off, because I don't want it to be misinterpreted that I said I would be bringing the tools. Please email us. We're going to get you whatever you need in terms of an email address. And a week before the cleanup, I will be meeting with all of the block leaders to bring them the specific items that I had noted before. And we truly, truly appreciate your time. Thank you so much. If I can have someone make a motion to end this meeting. It's officially 9:10.
I move that we end this meeting.
And who was that? I'm sorry.
It was Marjorie, but I'll do the second if you like.
Miss Silcott, I love it. Two Marjories. Miss Silcott made the motion, and Miss Faison seconded the motion. Miss Barton, you have all that?
Yes, I do.
And again, we truly, truly appreciate it. It's ongoing. We just have to keep at it. We all want to live in a cleaner community. And Miss Friesdat, I'm going to let you have the last word with what we're trying to do regarding the poster. What are we calling it?
Let Flatbush shine. Also, I remembered we have those T-shirts. So I think there's 5 T-shirts per location. Carol, could we give like 1 T-shirt each to the first 4 people who sign up at each location? Little incentive.
Yes, we will. That's what I have on my list. I have 7 T-shirts each, garbage bag, gloves, the pickup sticks, and copies of the flyer. That's what I will be dropping off.
Okay, so I think at least the first 5 people who sign up at each location would get a free T-shirt, and they're cute little green polo T-shirts. So free T-shirt incentive to tell your friends to sign up.
Thanks so much again, everyone. Take care.
Good night.
Good night. Good night,
Thank
everyone.
you. Good night.
Good night.